Hey everybody, this is Phoenix Down and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy V 4 Job Fiesta. Today we are having ourselves a good old-fashioned boss gauntlet here in the Clefted Dimension, the final dungeon of the game. Also goes by the name the Interdimensional Rift in the more official recent translations of the game from Final Fantasy V Advance and beyond, the tablet game and whatnot. And for those of you unfortunate enough to be playing the Anthologies version on the PlayStation 1 or off of the PlayStation Network, it's also called the End Zone, which I guess stands for null or nothing or something like that. Nothingness, perhaps. Something along those lines. It was a really bad translation. I stand by my theory that it's the same people that did a lot of the errors and screw-ups in the Final Fantasy VII translation, but I can't back that up. I looked it up, I couldn't find anything about that. But I digress. We just defeated Calafisteri, or however you say her name. The first boss of the dungeon. She's nothing special, all she does is do status ailments. I don't even think she does anything that can physically hurt you. She might have reflect automatically on her when you start the battle. I know I cast a spell thinking something along those lines, just to be on the safe side, but she's really nothing special at all. The next boss gives me a little bit of a headache, but he plays around with status ailments too, namely Toad. And the Sonic Wave to cut your level in half, which is really frustrating when it's used against you. It's very game-breaking if you have a blue mage that uses it on the enemies, because you can basically, if you know the calculations, you know the enemy levels and whatnot, you can basically make most bosses have a level multiple of 5, so you can use level 5 def to one-shot a lot of bosses if you use that spell enough times. Unfortunately, that's not the case for me. I could have totally broken this game if that were the case for me, but alas, I had to make do with what I've got. So this boss gives me a little bit of trouble. He manages to knock out a couple of my characters, but it's nothing I can't handle. But a lot of the bosses in this dungeon basically haven't been giving me as much trouble as I thought they would when I started it. A lot of them, it's just basically kill them before they kill me, basically. I think a couple of them required special strategies like Catastrophe. I had Lena equipped with Wall Ring for that battle and had Float cast on the party before the fight started, so that he would continuously cast Gravity 100, which would nullify the Float status, so he could resort to using his Earthshaker attacks and really go to town. I tried fighting Catastrophe without that once. It did not end well for me, not at all. He totally wiped me out, like 30-40 seconds, something like that. He has a lot of attack power. Backtracking a little bit, we got Apocalypse, is basically the blue mage boss of the area. He can learn level 3 Flare if you cast it on him, and then use that against you in the actual battle he learns it in. Unlike normal blue mages, they have to finish the battle first to learn the new spell. But this is nothing special about this battle, really. Just use your strongest attacks and take him out before he takes you out. So I get pretty fortunate that, for the most part, my levels aren't multiples of anything he can take advantage of. Nobody's a level multiple of 4, and Ferris is the only one that's a multiple of 2. So she gets the old status put on her, but everyone else is okay, so this battle goes pretty smoothly for me. And after Catastrophe, we go after Halicarnassos, or however you say his name, the king of the Dimensional Castle. He opens the battle with the Toad spell on the entire party. Bit of a pain, but I make do, I get through it just fine. Gives me a little bit of a headache, but nothing I can't handle. In fact, I think the second boss gave me more trouble than he did in the long run. And then the boss after him, Twin Tanya, or however you say it. I basically went with the same strategy I used in the official LP, where I waited for him to start charging Giga Flare, and then I used the magic lamp and summoned Odin to one-shot kill him when he changed forms to charge up that attack. So I basically just stood my ground, had Kara do some healing whenever needed, just to keep myself alive. I had the coral rings equipped, so his atomic ray wasn't doing any damage, and if I'd had attacked him and triggered a counterattack, the tidal wave attack would have healed me instead. So I mean, I probably could have defeated him fair and square, but I wanted to get through these battles as quickly as possible to end this game. So that all worked out for me in the end. The last battle of this run through, I totally skipped the Altaroy Jura Avis enemies. There's like 6 of them in the dungeon area where Apocalypse and Catastrophe are. They just roam around. They're guarding treasure chests with dancer equipment that I can't even use. There was absolutely no reason to fight them at all. All my jobs were mastered at this point. It was absolutely pointless to even fight them, so I just totally stayed in the center of the hallway and avoided the area where they're at, because if they come in contact with you, you automatically fight them. It's not worth it. I don't have anyone, like I don't have a Dragoon to equip the Dragoon Spear that you can steal from the Jura Avis after he transforms. So I totally bypassed those enemies, and I did not fight Omega or Shinryu. That probably goes without saying, I would think, considering that with the levels, well, my current levels for starters, and the jobs that I kind of rolled for 4-job Fiesta, I stand 0 chance of defeating Omega, and next to no chance of defeating Shinryu. If I could beat one of them, it would probably be Shinryu, but I would have to do a lot of grinding, and I'd have to have a lot of luck, and it's just flat out not worth it, I don't think. You know, unfortunately, I do manage to beat the game, but I can't beat them. I concede on that one. But anyway, the final boss of today's video is Necrophobia, or Necrophobe, depending on the translation. He was the hardest one out of the whole bunch. You know, he starts off the battle with the 4 barriers surrounding him that have reflect automatically on them, and you can't remove it with the dispel spell. It's always weird saying that like that. The dispel spell. It's a spell that dispels spells. But anyway, so yeah, since I didn't have a samurai or anything that could multi-target everything for decent damage with the guild toss ability and whatnot, yeah, that was a lot harder. It took a lot longer to take out the barriers than it normally would. But Necrophobia himself, once the barriers are gone, is a heavy hitter. So, but he's weak to holy, so anytime Kara was not doing any healing, the holy spell would almost do max damage each time, so that definitely was a time saver when I was able to spare a moment to do that. In fact, in hindsight, I probably would have been better served to have used elixirs to do healing with the other characters and just let Kara do all the attacking. Maybe have Barris be the healer and use the quick spell, and then use like 2 elixirs if I need to heal multiple characters or whatever. But I defeat Necrophobe. I did not fight, since I skipped the Gilgamesh battle that sends him to the Cleft Dimension. He was not around at all, so I had to defeat Necrophobia normally without waiting for Gilgamesh to appear and do his long speech and his farewell to the game, to everybody, and then self-destruct. Doesn't quite work because didn't have that option this time. So that's about all I have to really say about this boss gauntlet. It wasn't nearly as challenging as I expected it, even with my current setup. You know, this party's not terrible. The only change I probably would make would be Bart's being a monk. Everything else is workable. Could be better, but could be worse. So anyway, next time, on the final installment of my Let's Play of Final Fantasy V 4-job Fiesta, we will take on Neo X-Death and end the game. Alright, this has been Phoenix Down, and I will see you guys next time.